Hi there. Today we're going to ferment hot peppers into hot sauce and some cucumbers into pickles. I like fermenting because it's easier, it's quicker, and it produces beneficial bacteria. Whereas pickling, you're gonna it's like a whole day affair, or at least hours, anyways, because you want to do a lot in one batch because you got to boil the jars and vacuum seal and all that stuff. With fermenting, you could, if you just got enough material for one jar, you could do it in 20 minutes. Like have it ready to store, anyways. Also, it produces beneficial bacteria. And so my garden's almost done. I just picked probably the last of the ghost peppers that were red, and some chili peppers. I do have some green Caspian peppers that aren't turning. I don't know if they're going to turn, so we'll just see on that. And here we are. This is all I got. And I got a green pepper and a jalapeno. I'm just going to throw that in with some garlic for the hot sauce. And my cucumbers are all done for the year, so I wanted to show you guys. I got some in the fridge left over from the garden, but when you buy them, make sure you get organic, because you're eating the skin and everything. You don't want any pesticides on there. And this is what it turns into. Here's a fermented hot sauce. And surprisingly, I have the ghost peppers. It's like they're really hot ghost peppers. But when you ferment it, for some reason, this isn't that hot. But it tastes really good. I tried another technique where I cooked the hot sauce instead of fermenting it. And it was really hot. Really, really hot. So the fermenting probably does take some of the heat out of them. And here's some pickles from the garden that they're going to turn into. I like them crisp, and I'll show you how to get them crisp, at least most of the time anyways. And I got some dill from the garden. Always want to grow your own dill because it's expensive. Like when you want to make like in the wintertime when I don't got any dill, I got to buy the pickles, which these are $4 or $5 a pack. The dill, you're looking at $2 to $3. And then, so it ends up costing a lot for jars of pickles, right? So I buy 2 packs, and it usually gets me 3 jars. And yeah, so I'm going to pick some more dill. No, that's enough for 3 jars. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so what I like to do with all the vegetables is I like to soak them in about a cup of vinegar and water, and just soak them for a half hour or so. Okay, while the vegetables are soaking, we're gonna make our little brine, which is very simple. Whatever you get, there's pickling salt, there's coarse salt. You just want the ingredients to be just salt. So you just salt. So I got a little left of this. This is another thing you want to prep. Get as much of this as you can, because you could ferment anything. You know, all you need is salt and water. So basically we're making 3 jars. And I know how much each jar is. Each one of these jars holds about 2 cups. I have bigger jars that hold 3 cups. So basically the recipe is, for every cup, you use a half a teaspoon and a half a tablespoon of salt. And since one of these jars is 2 cups of water, you could just say 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon. That's it. So basically for these 3 jars with 6 cups of water, I need 3 tablespoons and 3 teaspoons of salt. So I got I use stainless steel. I make sure everything's sterilized. I cleaned it first. Just cleaned it, like before you use it, you want to clean it. And so I'm just gonna, this is 3 teaspoons. Doesn't have to be exact. It's not rocket science. And 3 tablespoons. Now, I never lose my tablespoon one. It always goes with my teaspoon, but for some reason I'm making a video, so I don't have my tablespoon, so I got a teaspoon. So I need 3 tablespoons. So it would just be easy 1, 2, 3, but now I only got a half, so I gotta do 6. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the more salt, better chance it's not going to go bad or anything like that, but it's going to be more salty. The less salt, the less salty, but the chance maybe it's not going to preserve enough. It's the salt and the good bacteria that prevent the bad bacteria from coming in here. Okay, so now I'm going to get water. I always drink distilled water, so I have distilled. So you want to use distilled if you can. So I need 6 cups of distilled water. Four. 5, and 6. Now you want to, I guess you could use spring water or whatever, but I just use distilled because there's nothing in it. And then you want to just stir it till it's all dissolved. And that usually takes a few minutes. And this is it for the brine. That's all you have to do. You don't have to measure vinegar and water and boil it on the stove and stuff like that, like you do with pickling. This is all you're gonna do. Usually, like if I wanted to make 1 jar, I just need 2 cups of water, a tablespoon, a teaspoon of salt, mix it up. Okay, I'll just finish this up. And now we're gonna add our seasoning, and for that, garlic goes in every one. I usually like to peel the clip off. I'm thinking that the garlic can get inside or seep out better. Bring some of that garlic flavor into it more. Next, I guess we got the dill. I don't put the dill in the hot sauce. So just gotta put it in 2 of them. And I like peppercorns. I'm not gonna put that in the hot sauce because the hot sauce I'm gonna blend afterwards, and I don't think these will blend too well. Now that's basically all I add for the flavor for the pickles. You can add like sage or bay leaf. They say bay leaf might help with preventing it from the pickles getting mushy. But most of my pickles turn out crisp. Sometimes they get mushy, but I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, so what I do is take a paring knife and I just pare off both ends. They say it's like pare off the one end that has like the root or the flower, I forget which one. This is the stem and that's the flower, but I just do both of them and they turn out crisp anyway, so I don't know if it's correct or not. one end or another, or if it even does anything. But what I find is that when I'm done with this, you want to store them in like a cool, dark place. If it's too hot, like in the summertime, that might have something to do with them turning mushy. Or the length of time that you're actually fermenting them might have something to do with this. So I usually get like 4 big ones in here. That's just the way I do it with these particular cucumbers that I get in the store. I get 4 per jar. I like my other jars better actually, because they're a lot wider, so I could put a lot more in them. But for these I just do 4. And the hot peppers. I just, same thing. I just get the top off and throw it in so the ferment can get inside it. The brine. You want to make sure there's no rotting parts on it either. You don't want to put anything rotting in there. Green pepper. I'm not going to put all the seeds or anything in there. I'm going to cut that out. Jalapeno. Why not just put everything in there? Break it in 2. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, we're just going to put our little weight in there. Just make sure, like sometimes the cucumbers are too big. So if that's the case, just cut them more. You got to be able to put a lid on there. Okay, and now we're definitely gonna have more brine left. You want to get it close to the top as you can, because I'll give you a little warning here. You can get mold develop on it, and you can get yeast develop on it. I've had both. And you can take the mold off and it'll still be fine. I've been doing this for over a year and I'm still fine. But I'll show you that when it comes, because you never know, I might get some mold, but we'll see. What you do is just take it off. You're gonna make after this is finished fermenting, you're going to make another little batch of brine, not as much. And you're gonna skim off anything like yeast or mold that's on the top. And then you're just going to pour some of this on the top, and that's going to splash out anything else that's in there. And I find the lids kind of rust if you don't dry. Make sure it's all nice and dry before you close the lid. So I usually, give it a little wipe with a paper towel. And then I'm going to, you have to buy these things. You can get them on Amazon. There's other ways to do it without using these, but just buy these. They're not that expensive. Just buy as much as you can. Because if you're gonna ferment, you might as well You got to get the jars and everything like that, the weights. You might as well just get these two. And try to get as many jars as you can. And yeah, so I'm just gonna let that, make sure all the water is dried around there before I put the lid on, because I don't want the lid to rust. And then I'm gonna store them. And then we're just gonna seal this tight. I ferment mainly the reason why I ferment the pickles is for the beneficial bacteria that are in there. You notice a difference in your digestive system by eating. I usually eat one a day in the morning with an apple and something like that, or a bowl of cereal. Okay, so then I'm just going to store them in a dark, cool place. Oh, and I forgot. You got to tell Alexa that when they're due. So, computer, set reminder for 2 weeks.
What's the reminder for?
Pickles.
What time October 28th should I remind you?
11 a.m.
Okay, I'll remind you October 28th at 11 a.m.
Computer, set reminder.
What's the reminder for?
Hot peppers.
When should I remind you?
1 week.
When should I remind you?
1 week from today.
When should I remind you?
Next Monday.
What time October 21st should I remind you?
11:30 a.m.
Okay, I'll remind you October 21st at 11:30 a.m.
Yeah, so I'm going to ferment the hot peppers for 1 week and the pickles for 2. See you in 2 weeks, or 1 week. Okay, so it's been a week and our hot peppers are fermented enough. See how it's a little cloudy, so that we can continue. Probably could have let it ferment another few days, but it's okay. So what we're gonna need is a blender. We got our peppers, we got measuring cup, container to put it in, and some apple cider vinegar. And let's get started. Okay, so we're just going to open the lid. See what we got growing on there. A lot of it's some yeast and some mold, but that's not going to kill you. Like, I'll just pour that out. I guess that's like side effect from fermenting. Oh, you can smell the hotness coming out of that. And so I'm going to, actually, one thing, you want to keep about a cup of this fermented juice. And then the rest you're going to just strain. Oops. Just to get the rest of the juice out of there with those hot peppers. And then I'm going to strain that fermented juice I had, just in case there's any left over. Mold or whatever in there. Okay, so now we're just gonna blend all this stuff. It's gonna be pretty hot. Vapors coming out of here. It might make you cough. I should wear like a respirator or something, but I'm not going to. Got the windows open, and we're just gonna liquefy these or pulse them up. The broth. The brine. Oh, I forgot to add the vinegar. You want about 2 tablespoons or so. I'm just gonna wing it, doesn't really matter. That should be good. Now this is sort of a liquidy hot sauce. I could already feel the fumes making me want to cough. And it's not as orange as my other ones because I got the jalapenos in there. Ooh. So just fill your jar. And there we go. And then let it sit in the fridge for a few days and it'll build up some flavor. And that's basically it. It'll last a few months in the fridge. And I'll show you my other ones. See how they're oranger. Now, this one right here, these two, was my first batch this year, and they weren't that hot. They got that nice flavor, but I don't know why they weren't that hot. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember what peppers I used. I know I had ghost peppers in there. I think I had a cayenne in there. But this one's nice and hot. So maybe I added too much vinegar, I'm not sure, but the vinegar helps preserve it. So yeah, instead of wasting those hot peppers, or you know, you get so many, what are you gonna do with them? I usually, when I got fresh hot peppers, I usually chop them up like garlic and put them in my food or sauce or stir fry. But then the next best thing is just the hot sauce. So that's it for the hot sauce. And still got the pickles fermenting. Those got to ferment for 2 weeks. And just one thing, you know, that probably you're gonna see in the pickles, you probably see like more mold. I don't know why I get the mold, but I've been pickling for a while and I just take it out and pour more brine to get it out of there. And I've been fine, I don't know. It's up to you. You want to try or not, or research more. I'm just showing you what I do. Yeah, so I find fermenting a lot more healthier, easier, so than pickling. And yeah, I'll see you in a week. Okay, it's been just over, I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I didn't have time, so it's been 15 days. So the longer it goes, the softer the pickles can be, so I hope these pickles aren't too soft. And the warmer it is too, so I want crispy pickles, so I hope they're not ruined by going over that 1 day mark, but it should be okay. So I already mixed the salt and water because I'm gonna have to pour some on top just like with the peppers. Hopefully there's no mold, or probably gonna be yeast, but hopefully there's no mold when I open them up. Okay. Jar number 1. Oh, look at that. Nothing. See, I don't understand how come sometimes there's mold, sometimes there's yeast. Maybe it has something to do with what's inside it, like the pickles or whatever. I don't understand how there's nothing there. Look, nothing. I never had that before. That one I don't even have to add broth to. That's good enough. This one, it looks like there's something on there. Nothing. Wow. So I made the brine for nothing. So if there was something on there like yeast and stuff like that, like the other ones, just pour that over, pick it off, and then pour that over, and it'll just spill out over the sides. But look at that, nothing. So perfect. I don't even have to do anything. So just seal it with the normal lid and put them in the fridge. Wait till they're nice and cold, and then they'll be crispy pickles. Now, I just want to finish this video tonight, so I'm just gonna eat one of my older pickles that's been in there for about a month, I think, for my garden pickles. See how crunchy they can get by fermenting them? Eat them over a sink for sure. Anyways, they're good. They got good beneficial bacteria in there, good for the gut. So that's mainly the reason why I have one every day. And like I said before, like the botulism scare and everything like that, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. I'm just one of the other YouTubers who just follow everybody and and learn from the internet, and they're not always right. But botulism is very rare, and I don't think it's easy to get it from fermenting because of the bacteria. But like I said, don't do it at your own risk. Don't listen to me. I'm just showing you what I do. And it is rare, but I would just get the symptoms of botulism when you're preserving and stuff like that. So that way, if you start to get those symptoms, then you can go to the hospital right away and they could take care of you. Anyways, that is it for fermenting pickles and peppers, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.